What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Narcissists Code. I'm your favorite self-aware narcissist, Mr. Lee Hammock, better known as Mental Healness across all social media platforms. If this is your first time seeing my face or hearing my voice, I am a clinically diagnosed narcissist, and I use my platform on social media to raise awareness for NPD, get more people into therapy, and also validate the victims, survivors, and thrivers of said disorder, said toxic people, said toxic traits. Today's episode is going to be about how narcissists think that you are okay with how they treat you. Woo! Yep. Narcissistic people, toxic people think that you are okay with how they treat you. Yep. Before we hop into today's episode, make sure to go on Amazon and check out my self-love journal, Lee Hammock, I Love Me, a self-love journal, to help rebuild their self-love and self-appreciation. All the self-love, everything, y'all. Available on Amazon. But yeah, a lot of narcissistic people think that you are okay with how they treat you because you stay with them, because you forgive them, because you reconcile with them and things of that nature, because you don't cut them off, you don't block them, you don't stifle, you keep allowing them access to your life. And I know what y'all gonna say, Lee, you already started this episode off on the wrong foot. That sounds like some victim blaming ass stuff. No, but y'all know I'm not about victim blaming. I'm about trying to empower people to transition from victims to survivors to thrivers. You see what I'm saying? You can't, but I'm just telling you, and I'm also just giving you the mindset of a narcissistic person. In my mind, as a narcissist, if you are like, when somebody does me wrong, I cut them out of my life. When I feel like somebody is not good for me, I cut them out of my life completely, right? It's like black and white thinking. You're either really good, or you're either all good or you're all bad, right? In my mind, in the mind of a lot of other narcissistic people, right? So if you're either all good or all bad, right? And then like, if you're all good or all bad, and then you transition to the all bad category, typically I will cut you off. I will get rid of you. You no longer serve a purpose in my life. If anything, you're draining my life energy. So I cut you off. And myself, like a lot of other narcissists, we assume that if other people think like us sometimes. Like if I'm treating you badly, cut me off. You see what I'm saying? And if you cut me off but you let me back into your life, was I ever really treating you that badly? Is it bad enough for you not forgive me? You see what I'm saying? If you're not, that's why sometimes when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, they'll say the statement, well, if you're unhappy here, why don't you just leave? Or something along those lines. They'll offer you the door, get out, leave me alone. That type of stuff right there. If I'm so bad for you, if I'm such a horrible person, if I'm such an abuser, if I'm such a narcissist, why don't you just leave me alone? You see what I'm saying? They'll say things like that. And of course, sometimes they will actually let you take them up on the offer, right? Like if you try to leave them, they'll let you take it. If you decide to leave when they say something like that, they'll let you they'll let you, take the offer. But a lot of them won't let you do that. A lot of them will try to keep you there and make you feel bad about even considering the fact that you want to leave and you go try to do something on your own, go try to build a better life or a better existence on your own and things of that nature. So that happens quite a bit as well, y'all. So you have to get ready to deal with that type of, in that space too. Because narcissists, I said this before in some shorter videos, narcissistic people, toxic people, abusive people, use your actual physical presence in the relationship dynamic as an excuse to keep you here, as an excuse to justify their behaviors. If I'm such a bad person, why are you with me? And so if I'm so bad to you, why don't you just leave me alone? Because I know if my mind, if somebody does me wrong, I'm cutting them off completely. I'm not talking to them again. I might ghost them. But you're still here. And I know a lot of people are going to say in this situation right here, you're going to say, well, Lee, we love them and we want to work it out. A lot of us or some of us are empaths or codependents and this, that. Yeah, I understand, that some people, even outside the people who are narcissists, have work to do on themselves. But I'm also just telling you that regardless of whatever you have going on inside of your head or if you have some mental health things going on or something along those lines, that narcissistic person does not care. If anything, they'll weaponize your mental health against you. Like they'll use the fact that you have some type of mental health stuff against you. Like if you have borderline personality disorder and you're dealing with me, oh, that's just your BPD flaring up. If you have CPTSD or PTSD or something that happened to you in childhood, oh, that's just that trauma flaring up right there. It's not really me. Your trauma triggering you to behave this way. Your trauma is making you not trust me. They'll use your trauma as a reason to get, they'll weaponize your trauma in your childhood against you a lot of times, which is why I tell people, like, if you're dealing with a narcissistic person, like, this is kind of the road that a lot of people take right here. They think that you're okay with the behavior because you don't leave me alone. And I know what people, y'all, I know what you're going to say, but Lee, we do leave them alone. We cut them off. We block them. They climb in the windows. They climb up the damn scaffolding on the side of the building. They live in the drywall. They in the crawl space. They're like goddamn narcissistic rats. They're everywhere in the drywall. They're in the roof. They're in the attic. They're in the crawl space. How do I get rid of this narcissistic rat infestation? Sometimes you can use a humane way and just ask them nicely, but most times you have to call the police. The police a lot of times tend to have to be the narcissistic persons, like, I don't want to say exterminator, but like the narcissistic remediation services, or the police. Sometimes you have to get narcissistic remediation service. Sometimes you have to call the police, y'all. You have to get restraining orders. And if you get restraining orders, you have to enforce them. If you get a restraining order, you have to enforce them, or that narcissistic person is going to keep doing it. They're not going to take you seriously. If you get a restraining order and you keep talking to them, or y'all keep clapping cheeks, y'all keep doing something, y'all act like y'all still together, even though there's a restraining order on, then that person is never going to respect your boundaries, y'all. They don't like the reason, like, even if you do decide to cut them off, like, well, Lee, I cut them off, I cut off access, whatever, they won't leave me alone. They think you belong to them, y'all. They think they belong to them, and they also want to try to convince you otherwise. Like, hey, you don't really want to leave. You like these behaviors. You like this treatment. Hey, and they will, almost always try to remind you of the good times. If you do decide to pack yourself up and leave, that narcissistic person you're dealing with will almost always try to remind you of the good times. Hey, you remember we did this? Hey, you remember we did that? Hey, what about the good times? Hey, we have a family together. Y'all. That's just how it's going to be a lot of times when you're dealing with narcissistic people. You know what I mean? This is how it goes. You have to be ready, willing, and able to deal with this narcissistic, toxic person in order to help yourself grow. You have to be ready to cut them off and cut off access and go no contact. Because if you don't go no contact, I mean, I know it's different when you have kids, y'all. Low contact, marginal contact, only necessary contact with kids and things like that. But you have to be willing to empower yourself, y'all. It's just one of those things you have to be able to do. Because the longer you stay with them, the more they think you're okay with the relationship, y'all. It's a lot easier to set boundaries up front than it is to try to set a boundary later on in the relationship. If you're just getting to know somebody, set those boundaries early on. Because 5 years down the road, they're going to start thinking that you like being treated a certain type of way. Like, they like being treated this way. It's nothing to do with me. They actually enjoy being treated this way by everybody. It's not just me. Rabble, rabble, rabble. You see what I'm saying? That's why I tell people, like, you have to be in your mindset. You have to empower yourself. You just have to. Because if you don't, the narcissistic person is going to take full advantage of you. They're going to waste your life force. They're going to waste your life. They're going to do a lot of damage to you. And they're going to blame you for staying with them. They think that you're okay with the behaviors because you stay with them. You continue to talk to them. You stay in friendships with them. You stay working at the company. You stay talking to your parents and dealing with your parents on a everyday basis type stuff. I'm not telling you to cut people off, y'all. I'm just telling you how the narcissistic person in our mind, we justify the behaviors and how we treat you by you staying with us, by you being in this relationship dynamic, by you being here with us. It is a wild mindset to have, y'all. It really, really is. So you have to empower yourself in order, like, if you want it to end, you have to end it sometimes, y'all. Cut off access. Really, it's so hard. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I absolutely do know it's hard. Like, I'm just telling y'all straight up that, and I make it sound like it's so simple, so simplistic, but everybody's situation is going to be different, and people are in different avenues and different stages of your relationship with the narcissistic person in your life. So the more you empower yourself on this journey to cut them loose, to cut them free, the more that sometimes they won't leave you alone, y'all. Sometimes you have to arm and protect yourself. Sometimes you have to move. I'm just saying, there's some worst case scenarios a lot of times that you have to do this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because that narcissistic person, the longer you stay with me, the more I think you're okay with my behaviors. The more you forgive me, the more I'm going to try to get away with, You see, the more you forgive me, the more I'm going to try to get away with. Because why not? Like, you let me get away with this before. Why would you change right now? You know what I mean? So you have to empower yourself, y'all. Because that narcissistic person, they want power and control, and their power and control is going to be exhibited in their behaviors. If you ask them to treat you better down the road, 5 years later, they'll be like, look, what's changed now? And they're going to start accusing you of cheating or something like that. If you ask them to treat you better, they're going to start accusing you of doing things that you know you haven't done. That's the narcissistic mindset. Like deflect and put it onto you. Like, hey, this is your fault. I was good. I was doing okay. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here you come. You know what I mean? So empower yourself, y'all. You have to. Because the longer you stay with them, the more they think you're okay with it. I didn't know it was a problem. It was such a problem. Why are you still here with me? Why you don't? Y'all, love is not enough. If the answer to those questions is love, understand that love is not enough, y'all. Love is not enough. And praying is not enough either. Y'all know, like, well, leave it to God. Y'all, faith without works is dead. You have to put the work in. Even if you pray, you have to put the work in. God ain't gonna bless you laying on the couch not putting no work in. It doesn't work that way. Anyways, y'all, thank y'all for tuning into another episode. Make sure you hop over to grab the self-love journal. Like and subscribe for more. And as always, Mental Healness is out. Peace. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. Thank you for watching my video to the end. I'm super eternally grateful for every single one of you. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so we can help reach more people, help more people and things like that. The self-love brand is available. I love me. The self-love journal is available as well. Links in the description of every video I do. If you haven't already as well, look into joining the channel memberships for behind the scenes perks, priority responses to comments and things like that, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. See you next time.